Hi. The in-laws' reaction to the separation is what the video is all about today. That was a stressful time, and I know some of you have either been through this or you're going through this. So I'd really appreciate, as always, the advice and tips. You guys have been so amazing at giving me tips and advice. It's like having a huge amount of people to take down a coffee shop and ask for advice. And I'm so lucky to have you guys, because if someone makes a comment and like millions of people like it, or millions of people make the same comment, it's obvious that's what I should do. So it's really helpful, and I love each and every one of you for giving me this advice and coming with me. So I know you've been through this. I know you have. So any advice would be gratefully received. Thank you for coming back every single day to my channel. I post every day, 10 a.m. without fail. Come hell or high water, I'm posting on YouTube. It's been fun. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I mean, fun. It hasn't been fun. Talking to you guys has been fun, and sometimes this is the only bit of fun I have in my entire day, like today. Although I did go to an AA meeting today, which was amazing, and I saw some old friends, a couple of which you might know. But yeah, it was like a bit of a reunion at the AA meeting. It's the one we always used to go to before the pandemic hit, and I used to be what they call secretary of that meeting. So it's basically, I was in charge of the meeting about 6 years ago. So it's got a lot of sentimental value to me, that particular room. It's in the Valley in Los Angeles. It's a great mate. If you're in LA, the Moore Park AA meeting every day is incredible. I don't go to it that much. I tend to go on a Friday, because my men's meeting that I go to every single day, on a Friday the restaurant that it's on isn't open, so I've got a choice of going to the beach, which is lovely, but it's a long drive, or just going to this one, which is just down the road. So that was really good today. But generally speaking, this is the only good time I have right now, is first of all the kids, and second of all talking to you guys, because everything else is shit. But yeah, Laura's mum, dad, sister, and nieces came out last week, and they know what's going on. You saw the podcast. You heard that Laura's mum wasn't very pleased about the situation and wasn't very happy, and in a way that would have hurt and it would have sucked, but in a way it would have been like, okay, obviously this is not happening because now the parents are not liking me anymore, or whatever, in a way that would have been a clear break or whatever. But in actual fact, they were so lovely, and it was so lovely. And Laura's mum was so sweet, and we had such a great connection. I feel like it was one of the best times I've had with her family. It's crazy, so it's even more confusing. So now I don't. This was something I wasn't expecting, and this is the fact that they were so lovely. And Laura's mum said to me, "You're never gonna get rid of me," which was such a lovely thing to hear and to realise. It was so sweet. It was such a sweet thing to say, and it's exactly what I needed to hear. And does that, the fact that I've got this extended family and it feels like they're here to stay, which is beautiful, does that mean that even if I go off and do my own thing now, they will still be there? Because I really love them and I really value them, and I hated to think that we fell out, and it was so sad. And when everything was happening, when I lost it, I feel like even though I didn't relapse on drink and drugs, if you call what happened to me a relapse, like an emotional relapse. Trying to unalive myself is a pretty big deal. So it's an emotional relapse. If you treat that as a relapse, there's a part of relapse called prelapse, which is where the wheels have come off and it's just a matter of time. My prelapse started, I want to say, early 2021. And the really sad thing about my prelapse, and I started to spin, and my psychologically, I was off the rails. One of the saddest things about that is me and Laura's mum had a couple of arguments, and I always loved her, and I do now. And she's such a sweet woman, and I never really realised how upset I was that we were fighting until I got my marbles back. And now I really have thought about it, and it really sinks in, and I really have time to, contemplate everything that I caused. And it is all me. I know that you're lovely to say, it's not just you. But this situation, I feel like 99% of it is me. And Laura's mum certainly had nothing to do with it. I mean, I was off the rails. I was behaving like a crazy person. So, of course, there was some justification for that because of all the pressure I was under. But at the end of the day, I was still going loopy. So it's obvious that people are going to find me hard to deal with. But it's really, really sort of hit me how much I missed her family. And I feel like we were estranged from when I lost my marbles, which is 2021. And the fact that they're always going to be in my life is confusing. It's beautiful, but does that mean that we're more likely to get back together? Or does that mean that if I go off and do my own thing, I'm still going to have this family, which is actually a beautiful thing? Or does it mean that the fact that I haven't alienated them means that we can get back together? See how confusing everything is? See how confusing life is sometimes? So that's what happened. I mean, I feel like I just felt so warm and loving towards them, and I haven't felt warm and loving to anyone since 2021, apart from my kids. Certainly not myself. Certainly not Laura. Certainly not the in-laws. I feel like I'm getting. They say in Alcoholics Anonymous, and you may be confused. Some people think I relapse because I talk about relapse and I have to do 90 meetings in 90 days. I didn't use or drink, but this emotional rock bottom is worse than any I had with drugs and drinking. Now, remember, I was hospitalized. I was in a psych ward. I actually died from drug addiction. And this was worse. This last relapse was worse. When I say I died, I OD'd and I died and they had to bring me back. So that's that. And this was worse. This emotional rock bottom was worse because I lost my family. That's why it was worse. So I lost my family. I didn't have a family on the other two. I had my parents, but I didn't have my own family. I didn't have kids. So this was way worse. I don't know where I'm going with that, but basically what I'm saying is that, what am I saying? So when this happened, because I called this an emotional relapse. Like I wasn't emotionally sober, and my sponsor does too, and he said you need to do 90 meetings in 90 days, which means going to a meeting every single day for 3 months, and never missing one. And I was like, God, well, no way I can do that. Today was day 90. I did it, which I'm really proud of myself about. I didn't think I could do 90 and 90, especially not when it was like an emotional situation, not drugs or alcohol. But it just shows how much I'm willing to grab in this recovery with both hands. It shows how desperate I am to get better. And it really shows me how desperate I am to get better. So I'm really pleased about that I was able to do 90 meetings in 90 days. So that's a milestone today. But yeah, the in-laws' reaction was amazing. I mean, you can't have an amazing reaction to what's happened, but suffice to say they were amazing. And I just feel so loving and warm to them. I don't want to lose them from my life. They're such wonderful people. I haven't spoken to Laura's sister for years, since we had Alfie. The last time I saw her was at Alfie's baby shower. That shows you how long it's been. She's just such a gorgeous person, so lovely, and Laura's mum and dad, same thing. They're just so wonderful, so down to earth and so sweet and so loving. Like I can get very materialistic, and I can get very, I'm not, this is what happened to me has knocked it out of me, but I can get very involved in, life, the rat race, acquiring stuff, getting a house, doing a house up, work. I can get very in that and forget about sweetness and family. I think after trying to kill myself, that has definitely changed. I'm not so much like that anymore. But when I was arguing with Laura's mum, I was an insane person. I was an asshole. I was just obsessed with the house. Well, it wasn't just that. To be fair to myself, it was also dealing with the medical stuff with Alfie and stuff. So I'm very pleased that I'm going to have them in my life. I hope that's true. I hope that is always the case. And I haven't spoken to Laura much today. I feel like today is probably the least we've spoken for a long time. That's weird. But I'm just concentrating. I really am trying to do this thing about concentrating on myself and trying to get better. I feel like I've got a capacity to make a huge mess of things out in the real world. So I'm trying to stay out of the real world. I'm trying to stay indoors, talk to you guys better, safer, nicer. But I feel like, I have the capacity to make a mess of things out there, and I can feel myself sort of doing it here and there. That's another video, actually. That's another video, because that's an interesting thing. Anyway, I love you guys, as always. What did you think of yesterday's video? Interesting. I hope you liked it. I hope it went well. Because I haven't seen it yet, because I'm filming this. Okay, here we go. This is the way this whole thing works. I'm filming this the day before Saturday's video is released. Does that make sense? So I know what's coming. I know what you're going to see. When you see this, I know what you will have seen yesterday, and I'm interested to know what you think. So, on another note, Instagram have beta tested this subscription service, and they invited me to join and see what I thought of it, because I feel like the whole social media is it's changed from just being like a creator is just like everyone. It's just you just put your stuff out to everyone, and I feel like it's becoming more. You get your inner circle of super people that love you, and you bring them into your world, and it's a smaller group, and you give the people that love you the most special content, and rather than monetizing through adverts, I feel like it's like subscription is the way it's going. So I do want to experiment with different things, but I want to give each specific thing a different thing. So if you want this, you go there, and if you want this, you go there. So Patreon is wonderfully, successfully working. Exclusive video every week, exclusive music every week. When I get to 250 Patreons, I'm going to up the videos. So I'm going to do a live Ask Me Anything every week. But I need to get to 250 to do that, because in order to do that, I need to juggle things around. But Instagram subscriptions, I'm thinking behind the scenes, Actually, I say I'm thinking it. That's not true. Someone suggested it to me as something I'm not doing. Would you be interested in that? Would you be interested in seeing behind the scenes of me making music? Would you be interested in seeing me behind the scenes of filming a podcast? Or I think that's something I'm not doing anywhere else. So if you want to see behind the scenes stuff, Instagram subscriptions is a good way to do that. So I think originally I was going to be like a daily diary, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. But then I realized that's what I do here. That's what I do here. This is you guys. This is this special thing, daily diary. So can't be that. But behind the scenes, that's what my Instagram subscription is going to be. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. I like it because it's a clear, different thing to where you get exclusive music and videos, Patreon. We get the daily videos, a daily visual diary of what I'm doing here. Interviews, my podcast, which is also here. So it's feeling like everything's making sense. Live music, TikTok. And off-the-cuff videos, TikTok. So I feel good. Like when you're trying to make a lot of stuff for a lot of different places, when TikTok happened and then Shorts happened and then all these new platforms, as a creator, you've got to kind of keep on top of it. And I was overwhelmed. I was like, I can't do all this. And then I realized one day, wait, just do different things on different platforms. And ever since I realized that, I feel less overwhelmed. And I'm loving this at the moment. I'm loving talking to you guys. I'm loving making content for you guys. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. And let's come back tomorrow and let's talk about something else.